baby boomer tales. Here we are in 1960 listening to Deo on the hi-fi. Wouldn't it be nice to go into the future and see what kind of record players and hi-fis they have? Listening to the wonderful sounds of Mr. Belafonte, Mr. Sinatra. I bet 2020 would have some wonderful music machines. I think we could go there. I just saw that movie, The Time Machine, and they went into the future and they went into the past. I'd like to know what it's like in the future. Will they have flying cars with record players in them? Will they have record players playing music everywhere you go? The sound would fill the air. They could put it on those big speakers. I think I'm going to go there. Come here, Spotty. You're a good dog, Spotty. I'm going to sit in this chair, Spotty, and you're going to help me go into the future. Just bring me back, Spotty. Bring me back to 1960. Okay, Spotty, here we go to 2020. Beam me back, Spotty. Ooh, I don't see any flying cars. I see a lot of little cars. What are all those people en masse? Oh no, they're all robbing banks? Oh no, oh no. Excuse me, mister. Can you take that mask off for a minute? Don't shoot me, please. Yes, hello. Mister, is this 2020? What are you talking about, dude? Of course it's 2020. Can't you tell? Why do all the people have masks? Because they're not in their house, dude. What did you think? I was just wondering about the music, and I saw you carrying that little box. Little box? Where are you from, man? I'm from here, only from a while back. Well, this is my phone, man. I just got a new one. That's a telephone? Well, I don't know about telephone. It's my phone. How do you make a call? You just say into it who you're going to call. Hold on, I'm listening to something here. What do you mean you're listening to something? I'm listening to some tunes. Tunes like melodies, like songs. Yes, yes. What does that box do? That phone. What do you mean, what does it do? Takes pictures, plays movies, plays music, tells me where my old lady is, lets me make appointments, lets me talk to people by texting. What's texting? You know, you type it in, like a typewriter. What is a typewriter? Let me see that thing. Here, let me get the sound on here for you. Who is that wonderful group? Well, that wonderful group is Bruno Mars. They're from Mars? We really are in 2020. You're from out of sight, I'll tell you what. No, Bruno Mars, you know. Oh, gotta split. Gotta go. You know, they say that I'm a retro man because I use some slang from the past. I know what split means. I do. Oh, there's more people with masks. Oh no. Spotty, beam me back. When I was a kid, my parents had a hi-fi system. It was a blonde piece of furniture that had a record player in it. The speakers were in the front, all part of the piece of furniture. And about 1962 or so, I started becoming interested in music. And I remember I bought about 4 or 5 records, 45 records. I bought Surf City by Jen and Dean, Please Don't Talk to the Lifeguard, Sugar Shack, and Hello Mudda, Hello Fada. Remember that one? Here I am at Camp Granada. Later I bought more, but those were my first 4. And you'd have to put this little kind of round, funny-looking thing inside the 45. The 45's hole was too big to fit on the record player, so this thing kind of was an adapter. and you just popped it in there, and then you could play it on the record player. And my brother John and my brother Don, and maybe my sister Janice, if she wasn't too young, every week I'd have the top 4. And we'd listen to each song on the side A. I can't even remember what side B was on any of those. And then we'd vote for our favorite. And John and Don always ganged up on me. And Hello Mudda, Hello Fada was always the number 1 song. I was always for Surf City. Come on, guys, let's play Surf City. It should be number 1. Get off of that Mudda Fada stuff. Well, as time went on, I remember I went down to the drugstore and I bought I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles. I believe side B of that was I Saw Her Standing There. I take it home, and here comes time to vote for our favorite song of the week. And I really politic for I Want to Hold Your Hand to be number 1. Of course, John and Don voted in Hello Mudda, Hello Fada. Finally, I gave up on my number 1 song poll of the week. It was really one of my early ventures into keeping stats and charts and graphs. I used to do that with baseball and football, but I try to do it with music, but you can only go through so many weeks of Hello Mudda, Hello Fada to force a guy to kind of lose interest in that particular one. It was a great song, though. First 100 times I heard it, I laughed. You put that 45 on the record player, and then you'd have to take it off real carefully and put it in this little paper pouch so it didn't get scratched. But Mom and Dad's records, we really didn't care. We'd take those off and throw them over there, and they'd get scratched so we could play our 45s. And on an LP album, the old vinyl albums, if you get scratched, then you'd hear it every time it come along, come along, come along, come along, come along, something like that. And if it didn't keep repeating, it would just, you could hear the big pop in it. So we were really very careful of our 45s. Mom and Dad never played much music on this record player anyway. Like I mentioned in the opening, they had a Harry Belafonte album. And I remember that Day-O. That's still one of my songs that endears itself to me, even to this day. Maybe it's because of Mom and Dad. I think it's because Belafonte did a good job of that. Besides record players, and when we got older and we moved upstairs, Mom and Dad bought a new piece of furniture, and it was longer, and it had an AM radio in it, plus the record player, and it had space for storage. And Mom could keep some of her good dishes and whatever in it. Everything was furniture back then. Absolutely everything. I love that old blonde record player. As I got a little older, though, I went down to the Gamble store and I bought a new stereo, and it was a record player and 2 speakers, and the speakers were these cone-shaped things that push the music up, and on top of the speaker was another cone inverted, and it was supposed to disperse the sound evenly throughout the room. It was a forebearer of quadraphonic, if you can remember what quadraphonic was. I really liked that stereo, and it lasted me a long time. Later, I was into getting bigger speakers, and my turntable had a strobe to it, so you could get so it turned to the exact RPM. Exact. Once you got those strobes so you didn't look like it was moving, that song was going at the exact speed it was supposed to go. And I thought, wow, technology is really great on here. Later, FM came out, and do you remember the FM disc jockeys talking like this is the peace of night? FM station at station A, B, C, D, bringing you mellow tunes that will turn you on. Unlike the AM disc jockeys that, now we're going to have a call in, and you call in, and the 37th person to call in and say our call letters A, B, C, D, radio, backwards, D, C, B, A, radio, backwards, gets a free copy of the Beach Boys, etc., etc. About the time that I discovered FM radio, I also discovered 8-track. I had an 8-track player put into my car, and I could had speakers put into the doors, and I could open those doors and hang out with a group of friends, play frisbee and whatever, have the music going, it'd be going and wonderful, and you're grooving out to it. All of a sudden everything stops, and you could hear it changing tracks right in the middle of the song. Then the music start back up. Later, there's a much improved product called cassette, and it's a smaller box of tape than the old 8-track, much smaller. And you could get one for your car, and you could buy them in little boxes that could play, and that morphed into boom boxes and morphed into even these gigantic boom boxes that people walk around with the boom box on their shoulder with the bass on all the way, boom, boom, booming. Also, though, because of the advances in cassette tape technology, Sony came out with the Walkman, and that was a much smaller box that you could actually hook to your belt and walk around with headphones on and listen to music. It was great stuff. Later, that Walkman was replaced by the CD Discman, and CDs replaced cassettes. Now, CDs were little discs, and everybody knows what those are because we're still using that technology today. One of the big selling points to it is you could scratch it and it wouldn't react like an old vinyl record. But I do know that CDs can skip. But they are a lot more durable than the vinyl. Speakers went from little speakers inside the piece of furniture to speakers that are as tall as me for your home, to now speakers are much smaller, very small. In fact, the better technology is, the smaller the speaker, the better the technology, the better the sound. Now we're into iPods and MP3 players, and everybody had to have one. And you had to be kind of a little bit of a techno to be able to figure it out, but it was no big deal. And all of a sudden, the apparatus you carried around to listen to music was much, much smaller. Today we do everything on our phone with the use of Bluetooth and to hook up to speakers wirelessly. It's a wonderful thing. I usually have my TV on with a music channel, and you can listen to any kind of music you wanted. I used to think that was the advantage of 45s. I didn't have to buy the whole album. As I got older and peace and love was everywhere, you want to listen to the whole album. Even Revolution number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Tracks going backwards. Some dude saying number 9. Number 9. I knew it wasn't Lennon or McCartney. Probably some engineer in the sound booth. Little history of how we got to where we are today. In 1877, the phonograph was invented. 1931 was the onset of stereo. 1941, FM started being broadcast. 1956, the first 8-track recording was done. 1963, the compact cassette was introduced. 1982, the compact disc came onto the scene. We've come a long ways since old Thomas Edison introduced the phonograph. That is a fact. Now, I know my introduction had Spotty beaming them into the future like the H.G. Wells novel, The Time Machine. Only they got beamed like Star Trek. And I know Star Trek didn't start until 1963 or 64. And our little thing started in 1960. So we're ahead of ourselves. We really are. We're cutting edge. If I can't say it myself, my little make-believe worlds will. You can find out more about us by visiting our website at babyboomertales.com. Once there, you will find links to places where you can access our podcast. Also, links for our book, our Amazon store, our Facebook page, and our Patreon page. Thank you for being with me today. It's always an honor and a pleasure to spend some time with you. Always remember to never forget to be kind. Be back next week. Peace out.